Hey pack leaders, this is Hino Friends and Arnie, protecting families, protecting the pack, and today we're going to be starting a series of videos based on the notes that I've collected while trading on Bitmex. Now I am new. While I am learning, I am documenting so that eventually, as I see patterns, I'm pretty good at seeing patterns. I don't know if it's the laziness in me, but once I see something that happens over and over again, I like to automate it. Okay, so eventually all this notes that I've kind of gathered is going to be placed into the auto tuner and then programmatically done, so that, and I'll probably add some AI into it, artificial intelligence or machine learning, in order to kind of do trend analysis by seeing an image and then knowing where to do the trend lines and all this other stuff, and then make a decision on it. So for now, let's just document. So in the meantime, if you want to follow me on my journey, I'm going to be creating a separate playlist. You subscribe to my channel, like, subscribe, share, notification button, and I'm going to be doing probably one a day as much as possible, or as I come to find these patterns. So I'll post it as needed then, but every day I'll probably just update my trades, see what I'm doing, and then kind of go from there. So if you want to follow along, definitely subscribe. Alright, thanks. And so let me go ahead and switch over to my notes. So I've kind of made some notes here on the right side, and I'm kind of probably gonna start talking about more of these along the way. But today we're gonna talk about the 3 hair pumps. So this one here, this is when we had this huge bear market and it came all the way down to 31,660, and it just kept going, and then I think we had a little mini triangle here, but it finally broke out. And when it did break out of this triangle from that $6,000 level all the way down to 3,100, and this is where the level was. It pumped about 3 times. Now I noticed that the first initial pump is always like a it pumps and then it'll do a little wick, but then there's kind of like a surge again immediately within the day. So just remember that when it initially pumps, stay in for 2 pumps, okay? And then when it dumps, stay in for we won't talk about dumps right now because I don't have it documented. So just remember there's 1, 2, and 3, and that's usually over a 3-day period. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Just remember that, and I encourage everyone else to also document, screenshot, use a thing called Snagit. I'll put the affiliate link for Snagit if you want to get the access to the tool. It's $50, and it allows you to kind of do this stuff and then just kind of put it in your money notebook. And then what's cool about OneNote is that you can do this little left-right thingy. So you can kind of subreddit it kind of thing. So tomorrow we're going to talk about triangle flat bottom 3 hairs with the 4th hair wicking, and that's just something I also noticed too. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow, and then we'll kind of go from there, and then we'll kind of go through that, and then we'll go through the rest of these other observations that I've noticed for extreme wicks and how to get in. Now when I look at patterns, I'm like, okay, so what can I do to predict, and what actions I should have taken to learn from it. Okay, so usually after knowing that these 2 hairs are there, then when you want to kind of like Fibonacci it, and I'm not going to probably do the Fibonacci here, but that's kind of how you can tell where to go, is the Fibonacci's of these the retracements of this entire triangle. So do your Fibonacci's on there. I don't know if let me try it. Okay. All right. Let me switch over. Okay, cool. And I think I did him. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I didn't. Okay. All right. So let me try to do a Fibonacci here. So how do you know how high it's going to go? So usually from the bottom of the pump, from the previous high, that's how I would go. Okay. And then, but definitely look for the hairs. So this one went over 4. Okay. And then once you get to that one, you fib it again. And you notice that the energy is kind of reduced too, okay? And then fibbed again. So energy is kind of dropping. This is, you know, ended on 2. This ended around like 1.68, and then after about 3 hairs, you're like, okay, cool. So once it starts to pump, you could probably start doing your fibs above the 1.6, okay, and just ladder those up. Same thing here, over 1.6. Notice that there's 2 pumps, okay? So on the first pump, you could either ride it out, or you could do the first pump as more intensive, and just kind of go in the 4 range, and just ladder those in, okay? So sell, and then even that, after selling, why not add a short in there? So after you close out your buy position or your long position, add some more, maybe a bigger position or short, or maybe a smaller position short, depending what you want, so that you can play both sides. So after you get all longed out, it's time to short, and then you're gonna have to go to figure what that retracement is gonna be, and the retracement, you're gonna have to retrace it down. It gets messy once you get too many of these guys going on, and I don't want to do too many, but just go the opposite direction, but in the forward direction, to retrace it downwards. I'll just do one for example, but once I do them, I'll delete them, so you could. And it's usually about 0.68. It's probably. Actually, no. It's like, how do you know how far this is gonna go, right? You don't. So, how do you know? Yeah, so that's the kind of questions that I would ask. Like, if you did long it, well, how far down do you go before you say, hey, it's gonna reverse again? And that's kind of the trap that I'm trying to figure out myself too. So what I think happens is that I have to get the previous up and down for the pump. So I have to get the previous down up. So let's go in here. So if you had gone up to here, then I would have to retrace from here, the bottom red, up, and then going forward, say, hey, about 0.618 is probably good enough. I'm going to start to close up my stuff here, and then you can probably switch back to a long, and then go back up. So these kind of gives you little indicators of where it's going to go, but you're going to have to ladder them in, because we don't know. Okay, we just know it's going to go in the direct direction. We kind of don't know how far it's going to take and how much of it's going to pick up before it starts to go back up. But that's how you use your retracements to kind of figure it out, because we don't have anything to reference in the back end. Okay, but I've also noticed that they do kind of have some kind of lines that kind of match up on the hairs too. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's not get too much into it and probably talk so much more and make it so much longer, but let's kind of keep it short and get. Okay, thanks.